the side yard. There's the sun shining in between the trees for like a patch about the size of this room, and packed with dragonflies. They're like zooming all over the place, like hundreds of them. And I'm like, yeah, but they're not in the front yard. And it's like where it's all shaded. And I'm like, man, there's, and Dad's like, I'm like sitting there watching it the other day, and there's like these little bugs, like, because they're like one hopped off the screen, got about a foot away. And I said, there must be some little, whatever those are, those must be really good to the dragonflies.
That's their food.
I was like, I never knew that, I didn't know what dragonflies ate, but man, I sit there and after about watching it for about 15 more minutes, I saw them nail about 5 or 6 more of those little bugs. They jump out of the grass, man. It's like,
well, you see the geese, man. They're eating those geese near my apartment because they're just got their heads down into the grass. They're eating all kinds of bugs.
Got the lights and the wheels going, man.
Yeah.
Is that Vicente?
Vicente's recording. That's me standing way back there.
Oh,
But there's the ultimate use for this robot.
Was that you out in Amelia today?
What a great job.
Do what?
Was that you out east today?
Yeah.
delivering pizza.
The ultimate use for this robot. We have finally figured out what this robot is going to do.
Perfect. Woohoo! Hey, all right. What a great job.
So,
Deliver pizza. There we go.
and then Vicente said that he had to get a picture because we went to Micro Center and we didn't buy anything.
What?
I don't believe that. That's a lie.
No, it's true. See, nothing in my hands.
Yeah. It was behind your back. Shoved in your pants behind your back.
No, we went to Micro Center, didn't buy a thing.
Didn't even get a USB stick or
Nothing. I didn't even buy a water, and I really needed a water. I was hot and tired. It was time to go home.
it was hot in there. I stopped
Yeah.
by there.
And that's the
a little bit.
bicentennial celebration of not buying anything in the store?
Yeah.
Okay.
We walked around and looked at a bunch of stuff, but we didn't buy anything.
That's like going in the Kroger and not getting something.
running in there.
But yeah, we made a little bit more progress on. Actually, we made quite a bit of progress. Got a little platform on it now. And
Perfect. Woohoo!
made it
Hey,
deliver our
all right.
pizza. That was the highlight. Pizza delivery guy was like, "That's cool."
Did you go out in the lot and meet him there, or just at the
No,
door?
I thought about it, but there's that little step
Yeah.
right at the entrance, and I was like, I won't be able to get back in. So
And it'll have my pizza.
yeah, it could go down the step easy, but it could
Come
come
back
back. Yeah, so
Gravity's a mother.
yeah. Big old caster wheels on it and whatever, and it just doesn't have.
Now, what warehouse was that out there?
Online engineering.
Yeah,
That's where you work?
No,
Yeah.
not
sort of.
usually. My dad works there
Okay.
more than I don't think other than fix computers a time or two.
You could probably get it to go upstairs if you come up, not steps, but smaller things. If you came up to it and then rotated in place,
That's
one wheel could climb up.
that's more or less how you have to do it
Yeah.
on some steps. But I mean, it was a glass door, and if you make a mistake, that could be a bad thing too. So I just opted for.
Yeah.
We just no, we'll just let them do. Let him bring it in and set it on there. And then this week, I watched
The laser disc.
On
On
the
the
laser
laser
disc?
disc. That was me.
So that was the original then.
Yes, the non.
Where Han did shoot first.
Of course, he has to shoot first.
Yeah.
I hooked the laser disc player up.
Somewhere I have the Sting on a laser disc.
Those are all the originals.
With the original ending and everything.
Yeah, the non-modified, non.
That's what.
See, I didn't even know they were modified.
I didn't know they redid
4
the ending.
versions of that one.
Is there?
Yes.
What- how
Yeah,
did
and
they-
there's 4 different versions of that one on Laserdisc, but that's the original.
I didn't know they came out with the other versions on Laserdisc.
They actually there's a box set of
Oh,
them
they have them?
that
Some
it
marketing
includes
genius.
all
Well,
3
4
of them,
different
and it
endings.
includes
Well,
the
okay.
non-modified and the modified version. This was like one of the this was one of the things that made Laserdisc
Nice.
as popular as Laserdisc.
I remember Laserdisc coming out. My dad's cousin had one.
There's apparently 2 or 3 different versions of the original on Laserdisc too, but I don't know if any of them were modified. I think they were all of the original version.
I know they redid that movie a time or two too.
Yeah. at least twice that I know
What was the arcade game on Laserdisc?
of.
With the dragon?
Dragon's
Dragon's Lair.
and Space Ace.
Yeah, I have Dragon's Lair somewhere.
Yeah.
It was not good.
I had the opportunity once to actually buy a original Laserdisc of Dragon's Lair.
And that's what I've got.
Do you?
Yeah,
Cool.
somewhere. I know I've got it.
I had the opportunity to buy it once, and I don't know what happened. I don't remember what happened, but suddenly it was there and then it wasn't. You probably bought it.
No, I got mine at Kings Island.
Did you?
Yeah, I
When
used
they
to work
took
in
out the
Coney. and,
machines, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I heard Coney's going to get rid of their rides.
Yeah, well, it's a thing.
So,
They did the Vortex too. at
Yeah, Kings Island get rid of the
Really?
Vortex.
Yeah,
Oh, sad.
they just announced that like a week or 2 ago.
That's
Yeah.
my favorite roller coaster.
I just say I liked it. I used to ride it a lot. I don't know why they're getting rid of it.
Or putting a new
Because
one
they
in and
can.
getting rid of the Vortex.
I'm gonna put the bat back.
Maybe. But they already built another one they called the Bat.
No, I don't
Couldn't
know.
they repaint one of the other ones black and call it Bat?
Maybe the original bat was where the vortex is.
Yeah. Well, it's sank, but there's quicksand back there too. The pylons.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I heard the reason was more maintenance on the cars.
Oh,
Those
yeah.
things had 8 shock absorbers on them, and they had to replace them about twice a week.
Oh, I don't doubt it, but that's one of the things that sunk it in or put it into it was some of the pylons were sinking
Nice.
that held it up. It was the reason I heard that it got torn down. Because it only lasted a season, or
Mhm.
half a season.
Bat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember the bat. Is that
It was
one of
a
the
Long
stand-up?
time ago.
It was one that, well, you hung under it. It wasn't
Okay.
really a stand-up, but you hung under it, and it had, that thing whipped you side to side a lot, and it had 4 shock absorbers on each side.
Was that the one that caused like all kinds of whiplash and stuff from
I don't
people?
think so. It was actually pretty smooth. Nothing like the vortex, but it wasn't too bad.
I don't remember the bat. I
It
don't
wasn't there
remember
very
the bat.
long. 80.
Like I say, it was late 80s, mid 80s.
I remember
Yeah.
one that I think you hung under it, but I thought it was like Top Gun or something.
Well, yeah, Top Gun was another one.
Top
Actually-
Gun was a remake of after like 5 years later, 6 years later.
Yeah, that's the one I remember.
It was smaller.
I was one of the first people that rode on that. I was working in the sound shop when they built that, and they had a bunch of folks out, ran it around with sandbags, like, should be okay, who wants to ride? I would.
That was a fun one. I liked it.
Yeah.
It was short, but
Yeah, they should have let you go around 2 or 3 times.
well, and that was so. Used to, the year I worked there, the high schools, the school nights or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So we worked in missions. So there was all was in there. Like so, I mean, the missions only open like an hour because of not the school show up that. So they let us all off, and we went in the road, and they ran it like 3 times in a row.
Yeah, nice.
Which was nice because we never got past the entrances, admissions people. That was like the only time we actually ever got past the entrance because they let us off early. They gave us paid on like 9 or something. I'll go play in the park and have fun. So, but yeah, we rode Top Gun like 3 times in a row, and then because there wasn't anybody in line, so they didn't bother stopping it. It was awesome.
Yeah, what's the new coaster they're building?
I heard.
Orion.
I have a question for Steve.
Okay.
It's a good question.
I'll have an answer. It may even work.
You know, this actually relates to the meeting.
Orion,
too.
you're right, Orion.
Yeah.
You really follow that stuff, don't you?
I like roller coasters.
You know, Microsoft has announced that they're going to make Edge for Linux now.
I didn't know that. Oh well.
What?
Wait, they're not even making it for themselves.
I was gonna say they just announced like a month ago they were scrapping Edge.
Seriously?
I don't know. Yeah, that was a couple of days ago, 3 or 4
And
days
they want
ago.
feedback. Okay, I'll give them feedback. Nice.
I said, well, I read a couple of those articles, and people are like, okay, it's Chromium with an Edge
Yeah.
theme to it. What's the point?
I,
Why are we doing this? What's the point?
the only thing that I actually liked about Edge was it read EPUBs. They've dropped. They're not. They're dropping support for EPUB. EPUB is a zip file with HTML in it.
Yeah.
Why?
There was a whole article like last week I read, and the guy's like, "There's only one thing Edge does right, and that's read PDF books, and they're gonna scrap it at the end of the year." It's funny that you said that.
I don't understand.
It's the only thing it does right.
If I was starting a new company right now, and I hired an IT department, and they said, "Okay, we got to put Office on everything," I would fire them right then.
Yeah.
Microsoft has gotten so stupid and crazy lately. One of the things I was thinking about a week ago or so, absolutely every service that Microsoft has, somebody else says, we do the same thing, but we do it better than Microsoft.
And cheaper.
So after you've paid for the Microsoft table, you can then put other stuff on it made by Microsoft but improved by somebody else, and each thing is a layer of cost. It is just outrageous. And Microsoft, I do not understand how they can still be profitable. They're just so
Fingers in there.
bad.
So much other stuff.
The best programmer I ever met, a fellow named Andy, one day he asked me, how many programmers does it take to make Internet Explorer better? And my immediate answer was more. And his response was one. They need to just get one guy with a direction and a vision for what it should do and let him go. Instead, everything is done by committee and done poorly. Right now, we did an update, and it turns off JScript.dll which was okay, except that it breaks anything that uses a V4 print driver.
I just saw that in my news feed that the latest
Oh, yeah.
update has broken print drivers.
Having worked for a couple of printing companies in the past, I follow that sort of thing. It's like print servers are one of your core services. How could you not know before you shipped that you were going to absolutely screw a huge number of your customers?
Well, check this out. I mean, notice my time is 9:43.
Yeah.
That's ahead.
Yeah.
And why are you off by 4 hours?
Well, because every time that I reset it back to Eastern time and I reboot the computer, it flops back over to.
Are you dual boot?
Yeah.
Except if you go out to Seattle,
So
it's
tell
not
Linux
9:41.
that
It's
you're not on UTC
it's-
and reset your real-time clock.
No, I've
that's
done
ahead. That's
Really?
like you're in
Yeah.
England. That's further east.
General main.
Yeah, This is coming from
Because England's
Microsoft.
5, London's 5 hours, so that's 3 hours.
'Cause
They
the only
reset.
time-
They reset the. Yeah.
The only time I've seen that be an issue is if your real-time clock is set to UTC, which it should be because good computer systems use that, and Windows reads it thinking that it's set to local time.
Actually, it just changed. It
UTC
didn't
is
sync.
universal.
It never sunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it universal?
Universal
UTC?
Time Coordinator. That's what WWP
What'd you do there?
transmits.
What'd you do to make it change?
I told it to sync. Most of the time when I go in here, that's changed back to like Pacific. This time.
Yeah, but if Pacific, it would be earlier. It'd be earlier in the day.
Yeah, it's going back to.
It's going back to. It's
to
going further
UTC,
east,
plus
like you're in
5.
Nova Scotia or somewhere.
Or +4. Well, it's taken in daylight savings time into account.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, it
that's-
did, dude. At home, it does funky things with that clock, and it all started happening when my
Windows.
toolbar changed to this gray thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I got nothing on the gray. I have,
Toolbar gray.
I don't know, but I upgraded another machine yesterday, and it has a gray toolbar. But I upgraded yet a third machine, and it left the toolbar alone. So I have no idea why it changed.
any possibility it's in your profile?
Could be, but I don't care. But the second machine, the other machine that has the gray toolbar, brand new clean install.
Oh.
Clean install, like reformat hard drive install.
Do you have a online Microsoft
Yeah.
account?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, I know.
okay, that could break things. And
you know
and
they're
the
forcing you
current-
to do that right now too.
Well, you can unplug the network cable.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's
That's bullshit.
yeah.
They're
That's
forcing you
important.
to do the whatever.
Azure Cloud. Join your computer to the Azure Cloud, so that you can't talk to your local shares.
Really?
Yep.
Mm.
Now you're supposed to download a Windows 10 sync profiler to that share, and then add your share to Azure Cloud services, so that Microsoft can see all your files, and then your computers can see the share.
Hmm. Maybe if I can encrypt my stuff beforehand, but that would be.
They don't have the key.
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah.
they want access to all your stuff.
I wouldn't put my files on someone else's server.
Yeah,
I just
I I think it already does, to be honest. If you're not
Yeah,
real careful.
that one that I did a couple days ago with a Cleaton install,
Mm-hmm.
it didn't even ask. It just set up OneDrive and it was done, and it
Yeah.
started syncing, and I'm like, okay.
In an AD domain, when you tell it to do things like don't install OneDrive, or if you find it, actively remove it, it doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Same
know.
with Flow. Seen what you can do with Flow, haven't you?
No. Oh, flows on the Switch?
No, Flow from Office 365.
No.
It's the new feature. I don't know when they rolled it out. It's been there a little while, I guess. It gives Office 365 users, specifically, documents that come in through your email. It will auto-execute. So you don't even have to open the email, and somebody can send you a payload that Flow will latch onto an auto run, but it won't run executable files. But the workaround is it will allow it to schedule batch jobs and then set the time, right? And then it'll execute a system, so it'll have admin rights to do whatever, and then go out and grab whatever
Everything
malware.
at once.
Yeah. And then my curiosity is, and it's not an on or off feature, you just get it now. There is no decision process in your availability of it.
There is.
Don't run Office
Don't
365.
install Windows.
Don't use it.
But yeah,
That was my big question for Steve, was what do you think? I don't think anybody who actually uses Linux seriously is going to install Edge.
I'm kind of an outlier in that I enjoy Chrome. And most of the people I know that are diehard Linux fans, they're like, oh, Chrome's too invasive.
I like Chrome.
Yeah, me too.
the problem is Chrome works on everything
Yeah.
because everybody builds to support Chrome. That's the only, and I've tried to get off Chrome, but half the internet becomes almost unusable.
There was Firefox and there was Chrome, and I was using Firefox for a while, and then it kind of got kludgy. So I switched over to Chrome, and I liked Chrome, but now I guess Firefox is back to being
Yeah, it's pretty good.
a good browser again. So
Mm-hmm.
it may be time to switch back again.
I've been using it more, mainly because my webmail gets stupid in Chrome lately.
Yeah.
I try to sign in and it says no data was sent or something like that. And Firefox is great.
Google. Never mind. He did it.
How you?
Sorry.
You're all right. Google is getting as bad as Microsoft with forcing you to do certain things through Chrome, or
Yeah.
putting their own spin on things.
They removed first do no evil from the
Yeah.
company logo or whatever. I think that's telling.
Do no evil. So this is a
Oh, thanks.
more quadcopters. This is a my brain just went blank.
Quadcopters.
Push the
Itis.
go button. And
It says it's a funny demo. Hit play.
It's a AI camera. So it was on Kickstarter. I backed it, so I should have it in another couple of months. This is one of their demos that they just did. So they're using a microbit robot. The robot has a microcontroller and the AI camera, and they've got markers all around so that if you watch it does various things. So you got a claw, you've got a scooper, you've got a fork truck, and as they drive through and they see, so the scooper went, the claw closed, the fork truck went, but they're also following the markers that are attached to the back of it. So they're actually following each other and seeing the markers that are out there. And they're not Eureka markers, they're their own thing. Yeah. I'm not real sure why they call that a funny demo, but there it is. And I'd get a couple of those cameras in a couple of months. They were like $36.
Ask for another one. We will need 3 to make something like that.
$39. Yeah, that's Canadian. Like $30. Yeah.
They're called Husky lenses. What's McQueen?
McQueen that's the robot
Okay.
that they were using. I've got one of those robots too. But apparently you can train it on the camera itself. It's easy to train and everything. So did you get your thing working?
Yeah. The last
course.
minute.
Of course you did. I went home and
In the
fell
last
asleep.
minute, because when I got home, there was an PGA in the front door. I couldn't resist to try to make it work. And by the way, I buy this by mistake. It's a flash. It's a express card with it's a USB adapter express card. I need a PCMCA card.
Mm-hmm.
Already asked for it, but if anyone like it,
I want to see it.
I don't have any device that use.
Yeah, that was HP did that on a lot of stuff.
I've got an old HP that might use it.
That one probably does.
The drivers must be in the disk.
If you pop out the
I might be able to use that.
you
Yeah.
can.
What is this for? What does
2
this do?
USB 3 ports.
Ooh. Ooh.
That's kind of cool.
Hey, I
How much
think
was that
that's
little
Yeah.
sucker?
Would that run you?
How much was that?
Nine
No, that's
bucks.
not bad.
I
Free
think
shipping.
that's a compact.
It's both. It fits toward the back.
I don't know.
PCMCI?
I find it hard to believe that this laptop would have a PCMCI.
Well,
It
that's what
doesn't.
Isn't that what your slut was?
That's
No.
funky. That is
Yeah.
just funky.
It's.
You can use a hammer and just
I think that's backwards.
Yeah. Well, you know, I am
You
backwards.
push hard enough.
I am backwards after all.
throughput Probably, I don't know, PCMCA, what's the throughput you can expect from PCMCA?
the one I bought has a external adapter because I think that the standard doesn't manage a lot of current. Maybe
No, it
maximum
doesn't.
100 milliamps or something, and any USB device may
So
drain
they-
more than that. So
So
you have
they-
a two USB connectors, and in the middle is a plug to connect to 5 volts to
Oh, nice.
feedback the USB ports. This is for my Tekra, Toshiba Tekra
Mm-hmm.
My
2000.
my
2000
device needs to
something.
be restarted to finish installing the updates or the drivers.
I have one cool PCMCIA thing. It's a Bluetooth mouse that fits in the PCMCIA slot. And PCMCIA and Bluetooth overlap for like 2 models of computers that nobody bought. It's really cool. I mean, it's a rechargeable mouse, and you take it out and bend it, and it's basically mouse shaped. Pretty
Ah.
nice.
I remember
Uh,
this kind of
It's
device.
weird. If you want it, you're welcome to it. If you have Bluetooth, it's usable. If not, you need to add a Bluetooth adapter.
I just bought the Toshiba because
Mhm.
XP operating system
Mm-hmm.
can drive the EEPROM programmer. I bought also
Mm-hmm.
a very old one with a parallel port.
Nice.
So I don't want to add more work on this.
I don't know. It's a lot of work to maintain XP at this point.
Yeah,
No, just don't plug in a network card
Yeah.
cable.
I have
Works
one
great.
desktop XP in the basement, driving a small CNC machine.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the controller is parallel printer
Mm-hmm.
connection.
Try Linux CNC sometime.
Yeah, but the controller only work with this parallel thing. You need
Well,
an-
Linux CNC works with parallel port as well.
but it drives directly every pin of the controller.
You if,
Yes.
The
if you
controller
know what
doesn't
the,
have software. Just
if you know what pin
Oh.
does what, then you can make it work. Linux CNC is pretty sweet.
I agree with Steve.
And it runs off of a CD.
I am
one.
using something that is match 4 or something.
Mach 4.
Mach
3.
4.
Mach 4.
Mach. It came with the CNC machine. I
Mhm.
guess it's not a legal license, but it's the only
Most
thing that
of them
works
weren't.
with this.
Well, I think practically anything in that whole field is illegal.
You can get a legal license. I think it's $50 or $80 from Art of CNC, which is Art Fennerty.
Mhm.
He's the guy that wrote Mach 3, Mach 4, Mach 5.
Oh, that's interesting.
He's nice.
I didn't use it in science 2 years ago. I just made one thing.
You wanna show the wheel because I don't
Yes,
really think
yes,
much else is going on. Hi, Ray.
Leroy and me, we are working to make robots with the hoverboard wheels and more serious stuff.
Mm.
More
You're
serious.
going fancy.
I'm just trying to
You got
make some
little,
tests.
little tiny cute wheels.
This is an Arduino Nano, $1.88, free shipping. Reading the pulses of the RC controller and generating the signals of speed, direction, and brake of the motor. Okay, yes.
What type of signals are are going to the amplifier?
To this PWM from 0 to 5 volts, more than 3 kilohertz. You need to change the PWM of the Arduino also, modifying the prescalers.
What's the little black thing there?
This is the RC receiver.
Okay.
This is used to manage servos directly.
Cool.
Actually, the RC signal is a servo signal. And with the joystick, you can change the position of servos.
Mhm.
Okay. The problem here is that the Arduino is just checking one signal at a time. I think the standard is 50 pulses per second, and I'm checking 3 channels. Each time that I am checking one channel, I skip or lose the signal of the other 2 channels. Means that instead of I have 50 values per second, I will have 1/3 of this per channel, maybe 47 50 under 3 17 per second pulses,
Okay.
but it's enough to have a nice feedback.
Yeah.
You want to plug in here?
The idea is to use another microcontroller that will be working by interrupts and can handle all the channels. What? Oh, power. Is this certified? It's power?
No, I don't know. It's just power.
Okay.
Power.
Here comes the blue smoke.
Magic smoke.
Let's see.
You can probably just plug the other one directly in.
Okay.
It's too late. It's done.
The correct way to use RC controllers of this is to turn on always the sender before turn on the receiver. This is to avoid have noises or strange signals that will move your plane or your whatever you are driving. Turn on the controller, then I can turn on the power supply of the driver.
You're
and I
on.
have a battery DC-DC converter to produce the 5 volts of the Arduino. I ordered a step-down converter from 36 volts to 5, but I'm still waiting. Okay, now I have three analog channels coming into the Arduino. 2 channels will be for speed of each wheel, speed and direction. There is a gray zone in the middle. It will be forward or backward the speed. Okay.
Cool.
This joystick is used for gain. This is 50% at maximum speed. Is 50% of the PWM pulse. But I can change the maximum. This joystick, you know. This is for practice. For example, you can put a very low speed and try to ride your robot. Okay, this will be working. There will be two wheels, and will be working in some kind of differential control, and you can move your joystick from one side to another to make turns around the center, or to go forward in different directions, or go backward also. This is just works an hour ago when I tested, because before I was working in another project. But I already have my robot with both wheels and the caster wheels assembled to put a couple of drivers.
Full speed.
How much for the controller?
For full speed. Yeah.
It was
There is a detail at full speed. The PWM pulse stay up all the time, and the manual of this driver suggests that use it between 5% and 95% of the range.
Okay.
I need to limit this because in the upper limit there's some strange behavior. Maybe it doesn't like the 5 volts. You must use 4 point something.
That's good.
the that controller was, I think I found it on eBay for like $25
This
or
is
something.
14 bucks or something.
Yeah, it wasn't very much.
It's the cheapest one.
They're 45 or so a pop on AliExpress.
Do what?
They're like $40 a pop on Ali.
No, the controller, the RC controller.
Oh, I thought you spent the
They were
motor controller.
The wheel controller is how much? The wheel controller.
The controller is
Yeah.
Around 40 bucks.
With the fins.
30 something,
30
35.
something. Oh, okay.
They've come down a
It's the
little
more,
bit.
it's not the cheaper one.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, but to be able to do
And
300
the,
Bs up and
The controller, this controller with that,
It's under 20 bucks.
Really?
Shipping, yeah.
this came with that, or
With this, yes.
Oh,
But you can
cool.
buy separately because there is a procedure to match the code frequencies, not the frequencies, the codes.
get the remote and
Yeah,
stuff for
a
under
lot
all the
20
way to the
bucks.
top.
People
it
working on
stops.
these things to avoid interference between one
Doesn't
and another.
appreciate that.
It doesn't appreciate
Different frequency.
95 or higher percentage.
different
Right.
frequencies, set the
Yeah, that's,
frequency.
that
You can buy
controller was
different
not.
frequencies and also
I
different
just did a
codes.
real quick search
Okay.
on eBay and
That-
I found
the
one
same
for like
frequency.
$25.
It's
Several
just a
people
standard
working the
4
same
channel.
channel.
Yeah.
Dude,
Different
that's
codes
awesome.
using different
I might get back into
cars
RC
or
stuff.
planes.
So there,
I,
you can address them individually.
I've never seen them
Same
that cheap.
frequency,
Yeah.
just different.
Yeah, this is a code with
My wife has
A
Exactly how you
unique,
Bs.
a unique prefix over there.
yes.
Okay.
Last time I looked, the stuff was like
20,
This
of course,
is the
of course,
encoder,
shipping
but
gets you.
I will
Yeah.
use the
$25
sensors
and
for
$8 to have it shipped.
this is too nice for the lab, but in the road it will be a mess with
Yep.
water or dust everywhere.
But it's got Hall effect sensors on the inside.
Yeah,
There
there
you
are
go,
three.
Barry.
For there is a feedback between the driver and Hall effect to know where is the position.
Commutator
dude,
position.
that's awesome.
Try to move this
Yeah.
slow, very slow.
So
Move it very slowly.
Don't give it to him.
Slow.
That's just trouble.
yeah.
It's pretty strong at low speed.
Curious what the current on your power supply there was.
A bit high.
I check it. Stopping it in because I thought that the power supply wasn't enough,
hmm
but it's okay.
It seems like it should be smoother. Seems pretty.
I
Well,
think
it's definitely gonna cog at low speed. I mean, it can't help but.
It's roughly an equivalent. It's a stepper motor
Yeah.
Yeah.
with the encoder
yes,
built in.
3-phase stepper motor
Yep.
Yeah.
with Hall effect feedback.
Yeah, 3-phase DC stepper motor.
It can resolve 30
We
positions, I think, in one turn.
we have 200 pulse per rev. 3-phase stepper motors. They call them hybrids, but it's just a 3-phase, and they're marked as UVW.
When it's low speed, when it's real low speed, it does a little weird stuff.
But the waveform you're seeing to it is not sinusoidal. It's
No, it probably is.
It is.
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
But it doesn't do micro stepping.
No.
It's
No, our amplifiers do
sinusoidal. It means it's got a plus and minus going to the motor.
But it is happier
Well, no,
at,
No.
at
that it's
some speed.
smooth.
It's the waveform smoother.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
smoother. Okay, not sinusoidal.
Plus or minus is just differential.
Is it AC or DC?
So even with
Three phase.
the
AC,
3-phase or the bipolar, they're going to be changing the voltage on each pin. They're changing polarity, so it could be positive 5 volts, negative 10 volts, and they're changing it back and forth in order to get the magnetic field to be the most torque and to push that position.
So it is positive and negative. It's AC then.
What comes out
Guess what? That
between
totally
any
references.
phase, any 2-phase pins is AC. Yes.
Okay.
But
The difference between AC and DC is really time and reference position. So when you're moving back and forth quickly, a lot of people just think, hey, well, that's AC because it's moving back and forth quickly. DC is a moment in time when you measure it. It's like, okay, well, from this point, it's 5 volts. Next moment in time, it's negative 5 volts. But if it's regularly moving back and forth, hey, that's AC.
Yeah. If it's going back and forth between plus and minus, that's AC.
If you
Okay.
stop this and you start moving slower, hey, wait a minute, it looks more like DC.
Well, it's
It is DC.
it's stepping. If it's going from plus and minus, that's AC.
Depends how
Actually,
fast.
there is a break
No.
signal. A break signal that apply some
Okay,
values
it puts DC on. But
to
effectively, if it takes plus and minus, it's AC.
Does it do regen?
DC, if it's just DC going on and off, that's stepping DC, right?
So any motor that is bipolar is going to be an AC motor?
Any motor that accepts a plus and minus signal to it should be considered an AC motor.
No, you've
No?
just turned every motor into an AC motor.
Which it is.
Motor
I mean,
is an AC
technically
motor.
speaking.
No, every motor into an AC motor. Well, it
Well,
depends.
no, every motor is an AC motor, but DC motors have mechanical commutation to turn the DC into AC. So,
Oh,
yeah.
it switches the poles. A
make it-
commutator to
yeah.
switch the poles. That's not changing to
But
an
you
AC
can still
motor.
take the same motor with commutators and change the direction of the polarity. So your DC is going the other direction.
Yeah,
and reverse it.
It reverses the direction of the movement.
but the signal you're
Slow it
providing,
down,
an,
go back the other
an
way.
AC motor means you supply AC to it and the motor runs. A DC motor means you supply DC voltage to it.
So
In
and it
that case,
runs.
this is an AC motor.
there are a lot
Yeah,
of
that's
kinds
AC
of
motor.
motors.
If it's
AC shunt, synchronous, DC.
Universal.
Yeah, there are a lot of different kinds of motors.
sure.
So, especially in the past 10 years, there's been a lot of advancements in motor technology. And it's because we have better timing, control, positioning. So, a lot of things have happened. It's really great.
I think the car industry is
Driving.
Yeah.
Automation industry. Automobile.
more efficient, more
Right.
power.
Does this
This is
controller
all
do
for you.
regenerative braking?
You
know.
one of them?
this?
I'd suspect
I
not.
think that the
It's
brake
for sale.
will dissipate.
$170,000.
Okay.
Yes, it's a short with the
Is that why it's for me?
Yeah, because it's $170,000. This company went out of business. They made these huge mess.
was 50,000 last week. Wow.
Well, I've been watching it. Somebody went in and canceled their bid. It dropped down to $160,000 for a little while.
Gas
While it's interesting, I don't think it's worth 170K.
Well,
430 horsepower? Okay, it's got a Corvette engine in it.
It's got a
Nice.
Corvette engine in it. Yeah. God, it's huge.
Hydraulics.
oh, MakerBots went out of business.
I think he said that he had spent over $2 million on it or
$2.5 million
something.
is right there.
Yeah.
Didn't he win against the Japanese?
The Japanese, yeah.
Yeah, and they went out of business still.
And they went out of business. He couldn't make it. He couldn't make money at it. Imagine that.
Well, they need more competitors. That's a shame.
I watched.
This is the
Eagle Prime, current world champion battle mech, is on eBay right now. Bidding starts at $1 and there's no reserve. I've got a link to the auction in the description, and if it's already sold, I'll be making another video about that shortly. So if you want to get notified when that happens, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Now, some of you are stumbling across this for the very first time. Some of you have been following Megabots for years now. So the purpose of this video is twofold. One is to explain to people what they're bidding on and answer some questions that prospective buyers might have. Two is to explain to our millions of fans what happened. Now, I want to be clear, this is the end of Megabots in its current form, and if you want to understand what happened, you should watch this video all the way to the end.
That's just insane.
Eagle Prime is likely the world's most combat-capable battle mech. This 15-ton robot is powered by a Corvette engine and seats 2 pilots. It measures about 11.5 feet tall when sitting down and 16 feet tall when standing up. Eagle Prime is actuated by common off-the-shelf hydraulics. If you've worked on cars, tractors, or other heavy equipment before, you'll be a natural at servicing this beast. Its software runs on an open-source Java code base written by IHMC, a non-profit robotics lab in Florida. Realistically, if you have some programming or robotics shops, you'll be able to make minor tweaks, but you'll probably want to pay IHMC a little bit to consult you through the process of making bigger changes. Now, for transparency, I want to make sure you know about all the little things you'll have to deal with. Considering how complex this prototype is, they're really not too bad. First, when we built this robot, these tracks had rubber pads like most modern tanks do. Let's just say the robot ended up being a little bit heavier than we initially anticipated. After a few turns on concrete, we realized the rubber wore down way too fast, so we replaced them with these really high-density plastic pads. Now, after a couple years of wear, these are also worn down and will have to be replaced soon. We'll include the CAD files, but you'll have to either machine them yourself or find a supplier to sell them to you. Second, these treads don't tend to handle soft terrain like dirt and sand that well because they dig down instead of scrubbing along the top when turning. Now, you'll be able to go forward and backward just fine over these ground types, but only expect to be able to turn over hard surfaces like concrete and asphalt. Third, Eagle Prime has a lot of hydraulic hoses and connectors, and over the course of normal operation, it'll sometimes spring a hydraulic leak every 4 to 8 hours. Now, we've always been able to fix these leaks with a normal set of wrenches and a replacement O-ring, so I'll make sure to include a bunch. So besides the tracks and the hydraulics needing some regular maintenance and mostly being limited to hard surfaces, she'll do what you need her to do. The robot comes with this shipping container full of spare parts like extra radiator fans, filters, fuses, cables, and connectors. It also comes with a whole slew of weapon attachments that can be swapped onto the robot with just a forklift in 30 minutes of time. They include a left arm claw attachment, which is a mirrored duplicate of the robot's current right arm. A giant drill attachment, which threw shrapnel everywhere and turned out to be so dangerous we only used once. You should never use this, but you'll probably ignore that advice. A set of 500-pound steel knives. Why would you need these? I don't know. Why would you need any of this? A 6-inch double-barreled pneumatic cannon. This may or may not work because we used it as a battering ram in the fight against Japan. Speaking of repairs and modifications, the winning bidder will also receive Eagle Prime's CAD files and source code. Now, let's get to the numbers. If you're bidding on this robot in hopes of making a financial return, here's what you're going to need to know. Our robots usually command anywhere from $7,000 for an at-home show in our back parking lot, all the way up to $150,000 for a big corporate client at a trade show or music festival. If you want to transport it domestically, costs are anywhere from $4,000 to $35,000 round trip, depending on destination. It drives onto the back of a double drop trailer and is chained down to the deck for transport. We'll include some ramps to facilitate this. So as you can see, if you have your own truck to haul it, you can probably make a living doing private events. Just make sure you budget around $2,500 in fuel, maintenance, repairs for each appearance. Things break on this robot and you'll have to change the oil every now and then. The buyer is responsible for paying shipping, but I'm happy to help arrange or personally deliver as needed. The robot will ship from Oakland, California, so for U.S. domestic West Coast buyers, anticipate maybe $4,000 for shipping costs, and for East Coast buyers, maybe $17,000. Expect shipping to take maybe 1 to 2 weeks. For international delivery, safe numbers are about $50,000 and 2 months for the robot to arrive at its destination. Happy bidding. Again, when the robot sells, I'll be making a video about who it's being sold to.
He goes into why they're closing.
I want to see the face of the buyer.
He goes into why they're closing and all kinds of other stuff. But that's the stuff. That's
Crazy.
But the AK company in Russia just finished theirs. So now who are they going to compete?
He couldn't make money. I don't know why he couldn't make money.
Because
gotta really
it
have
cost
extra money
$17,000 to
to
ship the thing across the country.
That is It's just insane.
Okay, so what they should have done was design it to transform into a shipping container.
Design it out of a shipping container, huh?
No,
Or
to
fit into
Become a
one.
shipping
for it
container.
to
Become a shipping container.
change shape and become a
How
shipping
much did
container.
that thing cost him to make?
He
You can
said
use
somewhere.
hot junk for that.
It was over $2 million to make it.
That's probably what they had in man hours.
I do like the big chainsaw. That's.
Oh, I like the corkscrew thing.
the
They
drill.
said
The drill.
you never should use it.
It scared the crap out of us. Don't use it. But you'll ignore it.
2 million. He's not going to get 2 million bid for that.
No.
No.
Imagine artificial intelligence in this thing.
Do what?
AI
Yeah.
in this.
Maybe if they had
Walking
4
around.
of them, a whole team of them. It's gonna be cool.
So I thought instantly of Ray though. Ray's got the buildings. He's got the outlet back there. Just stick stuff.
You will be working full time trying to keep this thing working.
Yeah. Ray could just give up the laser business and work
Just fix
on
this thing
nothing
constantly.
nothing but Eagle Prime.
And then you could challenge the Russian.
Then you can challenge the Russians.
A
'Cause
garlic
they-
leak every 4 hours. Wow.
They already beat the Japanese, so. Of course, I'm sure the Japanese will be coming back soon.
It's I can feel the vibration. Or
I'm surprised. Well, other than the Japanese one was a smaller bot, but
BattleBots is over. Bite Force won again. It's their second win in a row. They've won 4 times. It's a vertical spinner. And
that's just awesome.
low center
And
bend.
it's only 2 years old. Wow.
It looks like it's gone through
Yeah.
A lot.
a lot.
well, they've probably been using a junkyard for moving cars around. It looked like.
BattleBots.
BattleBots.
That's your mega BattleBot right there.
Yeah, the 15-ton category. Instead
You
of
think
the
you could-
100-pound model.
Maybe you could buy that and get BattleBots to sponsor you or something. Into the super mega size.
Bot there. The
You guys have a new goal instead of your trash can transport. I can build one of those.
Look for the
I
trash can.
just killed it.
There's 2 bobcats side by side for the feed.
I actually put a link to it somewhere.
hate to see them go broke. I was looking forward to seeing mechs in my lifetime.
That's it.
Only if they've got a really big stop button.
You're wanting the Gundams though, right?
Well, that'd work too, but I was, I'd have been happy with a Locust or something. Chameleon.
Well, link to it. Where'd it go? There it is. It's the
Ah,
very
got
first
it.
thing.
They're robot dogs for sale now, huh?
There's your trash can.
There you go.
Awesome.
I'm still trying to figure out. I don't see sensors. I don't know.
I think there's one mounted in front of each of the front caster things.
That's probably what's down there at the bottom.
Did you see the people that manage this thing? How they move it and crash and throw.
Yeah.
There was still some stuff in the bottom, so we beat it until it all fell out.
It won't last.
Then it made a bunch of sparks.
It won't last a couple of weeks.
That couldn't navigate my driveway.
I don't know how it navigates now.
Use these stations to follow the direction from one station to the other one.
Yeah,
Probably been trained.
You need it in the
but it doesn't start at the station. It doesn't start behind one station.
Probably like
I thought maybe it was working like
old lawnmower.
like the electric dog fence thing, but I don't even see how they could bury an electric dog fence underneath some of that.
It's probably like the lawnmowers that you walk the pattern with it and show it where to go. Then it just replays that.
I don't know. It's interesting. That's all I know. You know, I don't know anything. I'm just here.
Did you read the article?
I read part. Yeah, I read part of it. But it,
At the end, there is a comment about maybe you need more time to take care of the robot than just to clean your trash.
just to take the trash
Can-
out.
Spend more time on the maintenance than it actually is
Yeah.
worth taking the can out.
Yeah, I don't think I read the comments.
That's what there's another kid that comes to some of the security meetings now. He's got another buddy that they're trying to build a self-doing trash can. Said their biggest thing is trying to make it weatherproof or something. Honestly. Then that's the step part 2, right? It's like when they lift that can up and dump it into the thing. How sturdy is the robot to put up with the trash people mistreating it of the can? So you just have all that on I'll get the 74LS series chip there.
Okay, you have both of those down. I think they're up on mine. I have to check. I have to check.
That's awesome.
What's the driving voltage? 24?
48
48?
maximum, I think. I am using 36. I think next week we will put together a couple in a platform just to play with it in the parking lot or something.
I took the one out of the car, put it back at home, and then proceeded to fall asleep. Didn't do
I've done
anything.
that today. Well, that's my plan tomorrow.
Fall asleep.
Sleep till tomorrow. About lunchtime. 2 weeks without my sleeping days getting to me.
The CPN, what can you talk to this thing with?
I don't know, but it has a serial port or something. It's uncommon, but there is no information about the protocol or anything. You can change the acceleration and deceleration with one potentiometer. And you can change, I don't know, the current, maximum current, to limit the maximum drain of. We don't know. Leroy is in charge to find out what this cable is for.
Yeah, I was just
The
saying,
white cable,
It's
The white one.
the white wire. I don't
Nobody-
even care. I don't care what that white wire does.
really knows what the white one's for. I thought it was like part of the break.
Maybe temperature or
Mine was 0 to 5 volts.
What, the white wire?
For
The speed.
Oh.
Speed controls 0 to 5.
Yeah.
DC. I'd put a pot on it, and that's what I control it with.
Yeah. We just. That's not the whole video. Did you not take a whole
there's
long
a lot
video?
of movement and stuff.
Oh,
You want it all? I can see.
email it to me. It'd be nice to.
This was this morning. Somewhere in a hiding place.
In a super secret location.
In a government.
In a bunker.
In a government facility.
In a bunker pretty far from here. We played with a robot and had it bring us pizza. Dun, dun, dun.
I sent you two of them, right? The pizza is also.
Yeah, I got pizza,
Yeah.
which isn't very long because it just goes. And I've got the. I didn't buy anything. And
This
just
is
just a
an
couple.
historic moment. Leroy going out from Micro Center with the empty hands.
You didn't buy anything?
I still find that hard to believe.
I use Photoshop for that.
I like that picture. It's a nice picture.
What's on the motors? What type of motors are those? Is that the same thing?
It's
You got
It's the same thing, yeah.
A
Only-
little bigger
He didn't have colors coming
with the
out of
lights
the
on
end.
it.
Yeah, it's a slightly different wheel, but it's the same.
Yeah, that one has lights on it.
And I'm using an ESP32.
This will use this part is plastic instead of aluminum, and has lights that use the same power of the motor to blink the. You can see in the video that the lights is proportional to the speed.
Yep.
You see?
I think all they did was add some coils to the LEDs. I don't think they're actually tied into the drive because the LEDs move with the tire.
Yeah, but if it's sitting just idle, not
Mhm.
doing anything, the LEDs are still on.
Oh, okay.
They're really, really, really dim, but they're still on. It's
There might be enough magnetic flux in the coil to power.
well, I've had it on for. I mean, I've let it sit and it stayed on. So
Yeah.
you'd think that it would dissipate after a while.
It's interesting that the LEDs are turning, right?
Yeah.
Means that there is not electrical connection between the LEDs
Yeah.
and the power, because the power is by the center of the axle. Interesting. Maybe induction, magnetic induction.
I don't know when it's sitting idle, you can kind of see the LEDs breathe a little bit. It's kind of interesting.
Pop one open, see how it's wired.
Yeah.
I mean, they're only $50-$60.
So I found a whole scooter that was in parts for $30.
Did you?
Yeah, and by the time I went to click on buy it now, somebody else had already bought it. And I went, crap.
What was the ID? Mark?
Well, it surprised me, but it,
I'm saying, he's got like what, 12 of these
Were
now
you
or
out
something?
there today?
Huh?
Were you out at the?
I made the video.
Oh, you made that too.
Yeah.
yeah,
On the pictures.
he's the picture taker.
And dangerous. You can, I have a lot of pictures. But
Woohoo! There it
You
goes.
Steve, you got any more projects?
Oh,
you're working on?
Me? I got no projects. I got another toy that's kind of cool.
Oh. That reminds me.
What was that?
Remember, you were at my shop. I thought you were going to volunteer to fix my router.
I'll do that.
Oh yeah.
A USB power meter. I got that to see, because the battery in my phone seems to be discharging more quickly than I like. And you plug it into USB, plug the thing into it, it tells you the voltage, the current,
Mm-hmm.
the milliamp hours going through. It works up to 30 volts.
what's the resolution of the milliamps? 1 milliamp? 10.
1 milliamp.
1 milliamp.
Yeah.
That's nice. What'd that cost?
Like $12.
Oh, gosh, I was hoping you were going to say like $2 or $3.
Oh, sorry.
They do have,
I'm on the Leroy scale there.
you've had them for months, Ray. I remember you with some. I had to get one to copy you. They sell them cheap, but not that nice one.
No, the one that
Well, this one-
Vincente got is the shit. It is so nice.
Yeah, I like it. But you have the Bluetooth one, right?
Oh, like these?
No, the other one, the
Plug that thing in.
It's a little
It's
bigger.
got a clock, too.
Clock? Oh, man.
It
The
tells
one
you
that you
how
got,
many
it looks like a
minutes or
stacked
seconds
circuit boards.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
and
that one's
charging.
really nice.
Oh, okay.
It's really accurate. These are so cheap.
Yeah,
I've got
I
one
get
of
it.
those.
that.
Yeah,
That's
it's
pretty
worth
nice.
$12, right?
I thought so.
And yeah, these things are cheap. They're not as nice as the one that he's got, but I don't use USB-C stuff. And
Yeah.
I don't plug into. I don't need a dedicated micro USB connection because I use
Mhm.
cables. But for a broad general, 1 milliamp, these are great. If you're wanting to know 0.01 milliamps,
Yeah.
yeah, those things are awesome. The one that the circuit board.
This is about the same as that one, just has a little cable on it.
Yeah.
with a window, with a plastic
Yep,
window
that's
on the top.
awesome.
Yeah, I bought one of those. I like the one you got.
But
You guys
the
made
one
some
you
great
got has
suggestions tonight.
Bluetooth. Has a Bluetooth and an app to see in a phone what's going on. You put it in a connector in the back
So-
of a computer or something.
Mhm.
You have no chance.
I bought this
to check
one,
what's going on, and you have
and
your
I was
app
so impressed
check
by it that I bought
the
that.
values. The one you buy.
And
It has
this
the
was
Bluetooth
delivered the
in
next
Yeah,
day.
you
I bought that on
yeah, you bought
eBay and was
Bluetooth
delivered by
model that
Amazon.
cost
Yeah.
It was like,
Maybe
man, oh,
$3-4 more than the standard one.
that one,
I didn't-
you've
I
got
don't
to keep
think I got
clicking
that
the
one.
button to
Remember,
find
you-
out power. It only tells the
said that.
volts and amps by
I'm
default.
gonna look and see if mine does
But
that.
this one,
If it does, I'll use it more.
Yeah, it's
right
got
now,
it
it
has
stays in my
memory.
desk 'cause I
It's
don't
got
have it.
everything right on it, too.
yeah,
It's
well,
nice.
if you push the button, it tells you even more. But it also has memory, and it's USB-C or A or micro.
Yeah.
It's got a little adapter so you can plug it directly into a
To a thingy mobile.
micro, yeah. And it's even the tiniest micro USB adapter I've ever seen.
Wow.
It fits inside the shell.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. So you could actually plug that into your phone and see what your phone's actually doing.
Yeah, let me pass that around too.
That's
Bring
pretty
your
cool.
toys, Jay. That's what it was. Too.
Yeah.
That's what it said in the meeting. New toys, old toys, toys.
The micro USB adapter.
Yeah.
And can,
How much
and
was
so-
how much was that one?
It was about 8,
Yeah.
7, I don't know, something like that. Yeah, I got that and took it to work.
Yeah.
My kid's like, well, that's great, but I can't use it with my phone. Like, yeah, well. So I looked up one that did USB-C and found this one. And, yeah, okay.
Let me see this one.
Yeah, plug that into something.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
No, seriously, you want to plug that into something.
My no,
Oh, here. I got it.
I don't think my cat.
Just plug it into that.
My OTG board.
Okay. Who brought the crash drone?
Who said it was trash?
Vicente brought that to me.
I need
Here.
It's not
micro.
crashed, it's still in one piece, looks like.
Oh, okay.
17,
Here's the
815,
micro.
Foldable.
foldable, yeah.
Yeah.
There, that's what the that's what
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Looks like when it's powered up.
Oh, and it tells you the resistance of the
Wow.
cable that's, or the resistance of the load that it's driving.
That's worth $12.
Well, now with the C standard is important this value because
Mhm.
there are cables that you lose a half volt or more.
Yeah.
So what's wrong with this drone?
What?
What's wrong with it?
No, it's not.
Oh,
It's perfect. I don't use it.
Perfect.
Where's
That's a
mine?
pretty high standard. Perfect.
I had two choices. Or,
Go
or
home. So it didn't do it. It ain't perfect.
who made that one?
What were your choices? You had to.
with the drum, Salvation Army, or Jimmy.
We got
Yeah.
more sympathy.
Well,
I-
He's
I-
not getting
I-
some
I have
sympathy
two more.
around here. Jeez, OP.
I bought five for $5 each.
Wow.
I'll give you
Good price.
$5 for one.
Trade is war.
Okay, more went out than came back.
Did they work?
Yeah.
All 5 of them?
Yeah.
Wow.
I see that.
Well, I have two of them in an
Just toss them.
open box still.
Who made that one?
The problem is the cable I told you, right? You have the battery.
I think I may have the adapter, that other
You need a
adapter.
USB. This is a USB to this
I
tiny
think that's
hole.
hilarious.
Yeah, it's right. I've got a USB.
Maybe I'll find the connector, but I don't
It's,
know where it is.
you gave me another one. It looks like the same
Looks the
thing.
same?
Plugs in the USB and it's got a tiny plug on
Maybe
it. It has a
it would
battery,
be
looks
lovely.
very similar.
That's a heck of a battery pack.
I need to ask Santiago, but he's in
Okay,
the college.
so you need to plug it in.
It's going to turn on
Maybe
until
in
it
a
has
box in a
power.
drawer somewhere, but
I think I
I
got
thought
it.
my phone. I can actually use my phone to charge stuff.
You might need an OTG cable for that.
Yeah.
I think those have something swapped. Which I've probably got.
Which I found very weird that I could do that with a cheap phone.
Mhm.
It's just weird.
Let's see.
That's awesome. Now I'm going to have to go home and spend money that I don't have.
It's only 12.
It's only $12.
Okay, he's got it turned on. I gotta go look.
I can see too tiny. Can you
Yeah,
see
that's
how
the problem
much
I've
current?
got.
Everybody.
Well, here, hold on. So it has another mode here.